Welcome to What's That All About? Thanks for joining me. I know I'm not in my usual spot, but my dog is sleeping and I wanted to get this done. Um, and she's adorable and sweet and snoring, so I didn't really want to get her on film. So, anyway, tonight, what I'm doing is, and I'm doing it tonight because I came across something else. Where I just had to like stop where I was, stop my research and say, okay, I literally have too much stuff. I need to get it all out and just see what you think. Okay. So I have crossed paths with 4 different types of entities, organizations, I should call them, I guess. I've got the Galactic Federation of Light. I've got the Intergalactic Council. I've got the Federation of Extraterrestrials, and I just have straight up the Galactic Federation. Well, my head is spinning, like whirling out of control. So I'm hoping that getting this out will hopefully make some sense to you. If it doesn't make any sense to me at the end of this, then I don't know. I guess I start back at square one. So I've already introduced you to ACIO, which was just the day before yesterday, I think, and which, as a reminder, is either the alien or advanced. It depends on how you say it, but alien or advanced contact intelligence organization, which great. Okay, I got those 4 letters that came to me basically while I was asleep at 3:15 in the morning. I woke up, jotted them down, and just hoped for the best when I woke up. And it was very strange and bizarre, and I'm still sort of sorting through that and how that all came about. But the name of that episode was I'm About to Blow Your Mind. I think I was about to blow my own mind. But so then I came upon the review that I did of ACIO, which was the Council of 5. Okay, remember, I'll put up the faces again and the names of them. Everybody matching to each other. And the leaders of this group, obviously being the Emerthers, who had that special kind of leader of the group, and they are the ones that come forward in case of emergency situations or turning to the Intergalactic Council. That's one entity that we're coming towards. If military is necessary to step in. But here's the thing. So this is where I get confused, because then I just stumbled upon something called, like I said, the Galactic Federation. Okay? And that is also defined as a joint organization that consists of various alien races ready to protect Earth and step in for the governments of the world if necessary. Sounds awfully familiar. Okay. So let me give you a bit of information about the Galactic Federation, okay? Now, go back to March 19th of 2022. London, England, shortly after 8 a.m., and the National High-Tech Crime Unit arrives at the home of 36-year-old Scottish computer engineer by the name of Gary McKinnon. Now, they arrest him on behalf of the United States justice system because apparently he had hacked into both the secret computers of NASA and the Pentagon. Yeah, if you could pick a dumber idea, I mean, my God, I don't know what it would have been, but those, just such a no-no. McKinnon admits to the crime, so no mystery there, but he also claims to have found evidence that the U.S. government was working in cohorting with extraterrestrial beings. Now, he said he always had been obsessed with the UFO phenomenon, but was always he just wanted to find all the information that he could. Enter the internet. So, being a hacker and being smart enough or have the wherewithal to go through the firewalls and, be able to navigate the different systems that were still kind of in their infancy and really weren't that sophisticated at the time, he actually ended up hacking into a lot of the accounts that used as their password the word password. So as he says, it wasn't all that difficult to get into a lot of these files. But anyway, he found lists of military installations for Air Force bases, Navy sites, NASA sites, and he said he found a goldmine of information. He also found secret US military programs that existed entirely in space. Think about that for a second. Programs that existed entirely in space. Okay, now this is 2002. Keep that in mind. Keep that for another minute. He located a spreadsheet that was actually titled with one whole column dedicated to something called non-terrestrial. They had office numbers, they had officer names, and they had ship names, none of which were ocean bound. They were skybound. Okay? Now, he was amazed to discover that this program didn't belong to the Navy, the Army, or the Air Force. So he concluded that there must be some sort of space fleet, space force. There wasn't a space force. To a civilian like me in 2002, I hadn't heard of Space Force. Had you? So McKinnon was told the US government intended to send him to prison for 70 years. He was beyond blown away. He thought that when you got caught for doing like any kind of cyber hacking or of any kind, secret or just, kind of less offensive things, that it was 6 months of community service. I mean, could he have been more wrong? 70 years community service? Are you serious? Anyway, the United States doesn't take too kindly to truthers. No, not truthers. Those people are weird, but people who are going to come out and kind of put a whistleblower-esque feel to something. So anyway, but as it stands today, they did make a deal where he is, his warrant is still live, and he's still on Interpol's red list, and he is not able to travel anywhere. So I feel bad for him. But upon more research, I found that George Knapp, who I respect immensely and believe immensely, I've never met him, but he's an investigative journalist who I've mentioned many times before. I've also mentioned the podcast he does with Jeremy Corbell called Weaponized, which I highly recommend you watch. But anyway, he came forward and said that he believed McKinnon had actually done all these things. He believes that he broke in. He believes he saw what he saw. And he really kind of agreed with the conclusions that he drew about the Space Force. Now, fast forward a little bit to 2013. Okay, and former Canadian Minister of National Defense, Paul Hellyer, declared that the United States government and other governments around the world were working with organized groups of extraterrestrials. And the UFOs are as real as can be, he said, and have been here for thousands, if not millions of years. Okay? He called the cooperation the Federation of Extraterrestrials. So there's another one that I'm trying to keep track of these. Also, the former Israeli chief of space security, Haim Eshed, who I have mentioned before, came out and said that there is a Galactic Federation and that many other world leaders know of it and are in talks with the delegates to join the Federation. So some people aren't quite sure how they feel about all of this information that's coming out. But here's the thing. The more claims that come out, the more a pattern is developing. And when you have a pattern, all of a sudden the facts become these claims that are coming in, those facts seem to present a pretty valid hypothesis, right? So it's something to think about. And it's an enormous if, I understand that, if this information is to be believed, then let me tell you something. Worldwide, there are close encounters of the fifth kind happening all over the place. And what it possibly could mean, is that world leaders are preparing humankind for an unprecedented event, which has been said a lot lately, of full disclosure. Now, of course, time will only tell with that, and I really still do not know how I feel about it, because full disclosure to me is like a unicorn, right? I mean, it's like an enigma. But again, I come back with my confusion, because is this Galactic Federation simply another name for the, Intergalactic Council? Is it part of the Council of Five? Is it like, do they all work together, or are they separate? Are these separate aliens? Are they a different, are different races involved in these other ones? Because I also came across yet another very strange YouTube channel, and it's called, the guy who it has the channel is called Sam the Illusionist. Okay, he claims to be a conduit for the aliens of the Galactic Federation of Light. Yet another. So he gives what can be called, he gets into this like alternate state, and it's like a deep meditation. And what happens is he gets these queries from people asking about certain information that they want to know. For example, I guess for this session that I watched, a question about geometry was asked, and also a question of, there was a question about Joe Biden, actually, and his reincarnation past. So I'll just tell you a couple of the highlights because it's a little trippy. Okay. Now keep in mind that while he's in this meditated state, he's laying down, he's got a blanket on, his eyes are closed, they're not covered or anything, but he's speaking in a very low, slow, and controlled cadence. Okay. It is still his voice. I believe he's from India. I'm not sure, but his accent is present through the entire session. Okay, so keep in mind that that is his voice that he's using throughout this entire process. So he talks about the importance of geometry and just in general. Now he goes into the triangles, the circles, I mean, all of these different things. So he does address that, not in an enormous amount of detail, but he does address it. Then he references something called the infinite creator several times. Never, not once, does he reference God or religion of any kind, actually, which I found kind of odd. But anyway, he says that due to the human now this is his alternative voice, we'll call it. He references that in the Milky Way there had been a situation. Now, he claims that human meditation, in the fact that they, in a mass kind of human meditation at the same time, they sent light and love to the Milky Way, and in doing so, were able to protect and prevent the intrusions of the sun logos. I do not know what sun logos are, just full disclosure. But or negatively oriented entities in. So all of the meditation and the positive energy that was sent to the Milky Way by all the people around the globe, he says, they were able to protect the Milky Way. Okay. Then he speaks of the next looking glass event. Now, I don't know if you've ever heard or the reference of a looking glass event, but on Earth, the looking glass, there's Operation Looking Glass. And during the Cold War, in Earth terms, it's the historically, it is the aircraft that was part of the Strategic Air Command. And it ensured the continuity of operations in the event that maybe a nuclear occurrence happened on the ground and ground operations were inoperable. So that's what I knew of the looking glass. So I don't know. I don't. That's what they call it, though. The next, in regards to the next looking glass event, they bring up the Illuminati. Okay, I just did an episode on the Illuminati too, and I do believe that the Illuminati is still alive and well, but that's just me. But apparently so does this Galactic Federation of Light. Now, he says that the Illuminati and other so-called elites from our planetary sphere, which is how they reference Earth sometimes throughout this session, are planning to create a portal inside the Earth planet in the inner Earth planes, wherein the garden resides. I have less than no clue what that means, but the first thing that popped in my head was that glorious crystal city that Admiral Byrd claimed to have seen in his journal in my Antarctica episode, Operation High Jump. Anyway, okay, so, and if they are able to create this portal, all dimensional realities will be allowed to coexist, which will create dimensional rupture. That doesn't sound good. An entry of other dimensional beings into our current reality, which would lead to the disruption of the Earth's consciousness and vibratory rhythms, distorting and changing the complete trajectory of Earth's future in a negative way. Then he says the best way to stop this from happening is again through meditation, and he uses the date of May 28th, 2023, meaning just a couple weeks from now, to protect Earth and the inner core. Okay? And he goes on from there. He does bring up Joe Biden, or the beings, whoever, that he's a conduit for. And apparently Joe has been reincarnated dozens and dozens and dozens of times. And with every single reincarnation, he is based in a seeker of understanding and communication. He is a calming and nurturing soul, which I still think is true today. I mean, yes, I wish he wasn't running for president, only because I think he should be, enjoying, just retire and enjoy. And anyway, but I think that this whole thing is just, my brain is like, I would love to know what you think. I know that comments are kind of a dime a dozen, but they don't come through a lot, but that's okay. I just wanted to get it off my chest. I have a lot more sifting through to do, and I will do that, but I wanted to get it out there for you to digest, as I am digesting it as well. So I hope you are staying happy and healthy. Until next time, stay weird and take care. All right, bye.